All right, we finally got the injector. Only two things wrong with. All right, let's go over this list. All right, ABS sensor, rear main. I'm gonna put a turn signal switch in it for the windshield wipers, injector, and turbo. So those are the 5 things that Bertha needs. And water just dripped on my camera. But we got the injector. It is a 50 over, and he did actually get me a spare, but he's gonna be dropping that off at a later date, which I'm still fine with. I just, like I said, I just want my truck to run right is all. And somebody else in the comments warned me that if you're running like 5 with more horsepower and then you're running 1 stock, like, can't that hurt something? And it probably can. But there you go. Nice, brand new 50 over injector. They're not remanned, they're not used, anything like that. These are brand new with a warranty. So I'm gonna go toss this thing in and we'll go from there. We got Josh over there. We got a bunch of parts for Josh too. So I just need to get my truck done because we only have 1 vehicle right now. And then we're gonna be starting customer stuff tonight. So I'm gonna be here until about 6 today. All right, out with the old, let me turn the light on. Out with the old. That is a brand new Duralast injector. And look at the caking on that already. And then we're gonna go put the 50 in. All right, everything is back together. I'm gonna fire it up. Hopefully I did everything right. Hopefully. All right, she's running good. I hate that clacking at first. That is so annoying, but she runs. Now I just gotta go get the turbo parts. We're gonna mess with Josh's truck. I hate that light. Gonna film him. But yeah, we got the new drive shaft. Remember, this is the one Josh launched, so he did have some marks on it. He did circle all of them, but this came out good. Huh? Josh got the other one in. Does it work? Is it in? Alright, so now ejector's in, everything's done, I got everything cleaned out. I did put some pins in that guy there. Now that that's moved, we will be doing the turbo tomorrow's video. But now I really want to get these rails installed on Josh's truck. We got the drive shaft in, and before we can put the wheels on, I did decide on the ball, or taking this whole hitch out, but I don't think I'm going to do that just in case we do end up finding the correct one. But if any of you guys know what ball I need to buy for that, this is what it is. Literally looks like just a piece of C-channel. Let me get under there. I'll show you. So this is what we got. It's just a circle with the gooseneck hitch on the outside, and then there's supposed to be springs on those. Nobody put them in, but that's what we're looking at right there. So if any one of you guys know what ball to get, let me know. All right, stole Josh's tailgate. We are, look at all the damage back here. Somebody definitely fucked that up. This tailgate here. Fun. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get these measurements out. We need 32 and 7/16 from there to the end. Gotta go a smidgen more. And then we can start drilling holes, and then it'll work out. So the big rails, these are gonna go in the front. The small ones go in the back. Fuel tank, Matt, I know you recognize that. You got me that forever ago. I never ended up using it. But yeah, I'm gonna start cleaning some of this stuff out. Basically, this is the to-do list for Josh's truck. Like, we got these guys here, delivery valves with O-rings, injector puller, I don't know why he ever got that. We got a rack plug, and then all the other stuff. And I started working on taking these out. That one was out, was a pain in the ass. This one is so stuck, it's obnoxious. These two I might just leave in because he did say he liked them, but that one was fucked up. That one's missing. So, spare AC compressor. This thing's so rotted though, like the bolts and shit, so I don't know why he'd want to keep that. as a spare and a spare alternator, and then we're gonna be doing the vacuum plug, or the vacuum pump. I'm gonna be doing all that, rebuild that, and replace the gasket, but let's get this measurements all lined up. So I was finally able to find and install the directions. So we got them in. Here's how it looks. And then there's one there. Yes, we kind of cockeyed that one. That one's good. So we'll come and revisit that one later. Definitely want to retorque these after a while. So now that we got the backs on, or the front on, back on, we're gonna do the front. And how we're gonna do that is I'm gonna install the gooseneck hitch. I don't know, I'll probably do it with the gooseneck hitch first and then measure everything out. And then as we're installing, like once I get the holes drilled and everything and the bolts in, then we'll switch to the fifth wheel hitch, because the fifth wheel grabs wider. So it's easier to make sure this thing's square. And these things always want to move on you. Once you tighten one bolt, you got to come up, check your measurement, tighten another bolt, check your measurement. It's a pain in the ass. I know, because I did them on this one. And I have done them on other customer trucks too. I'm getting filthy trying to keep my gloves done. I went and got me a nice hat, and well, she got covered in oil, so I'm gonna have to go buy the same one, fucking Walmart brand, but hopefully it's easy to clean. But let's get the other side in, and then he has rails, and I can put the wheels and tires back on, and then this thing physically runs and drives out of here, which is nice because then I can back Bertha in when I'm working on my tools. I'm actually strongly considering, as much as I don't want to, just going out and buying a toolbox and then just buying every tool that I need and just starting over and keeping all the tools in Bertha, but also having a toolbox in here. Because right now I find myself using like a mix of mine and Josh's tools. Like all Josh's tools are sitting over here and all my tools are in there, and then, you know, I'm using my impact drills and shit. But we're switching batteries back and forth. He's got those cheap Chinese batteries, and I've got the Milwaukee batteries, and we just keep switching them out. Now guys, when you're installing these, you still have to make sure they're straight, because if not, there's a lot of slop in these. So we're gonna make sure the measurements are straight, not only center, but squared side to side. Yeah, I think this needs just eyeballing it. That looks straight, so we're gonna take a measurement from there. Use your eyeballs first and then measure from there. You can see this is where the gooseneck hole is. So when you have this in the back like this, it is centered. And then if you bring the gooseneck ball and you flip this around, it's actually in front of the axle. So keep that in mind when you're trying to mess with your distributions and weights and shit, because they always offset that. And when it's back like that, that's the correct one. Why you should take measurements and shit. So I had everything perfect, and I got these two tight, and then it pulled back. So instead of being 22 inches on the dot from end to end and end to end, it became 22 1/8. So since those were already tight, I went and grabbed the fifth wheel, gave her a good old how you doing on both sides, and now we're good. And this thing is a nice, easy to remove fit. So you want a little bit of smidge, but you don't want it to be, you know, hatefully tight. So all I got to do is tighten these outer bolts and install the rails on the outside. And before anybody in the comments, I can see it happening. We do have enough washers. So we got the big washers here and then the small thick washers here. So all good. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna go and put another washer over on the other one because I did not yet. So I'm gonna grab one of these, loosen it, and then throw this washer up top. It's not really a method to it. I don't know. The washers are pretty much the same strength. One's like wider and skinnier, one's thicker and smaller, but whatever. We got one more to install. That one's like right up close, so I don't know which one we're gonna go off of. If we do have to go off of that one, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So this one came out pretty good, but again, that's what the measurements came out to. Luckily, we didn't have to put any on the inside because those are a pain in the ass. All right, so this is where I'm gonna end it for now. I'm not closing the video out, but I am gonna end it for now, and we will be back later to finalize everything in here. I think everything's going all right. I just had to get over that initial fear of installing these things because I just hate installing rails. They're a pain in the ass. He did go and get the universal brackets, but it's my fault because I'm the one who sent him the universal brackets. But you can go and get the correct brackets for your truck, and then there's no measuring needed to be done anyway. I mean, minimal measuring, I should say. But they just bolt right to the frame and then use the universal rail kit, and it would just be easier. But instead, we're using them little brackets. Same thing I got going on with my truck. And this, you guys are gonna see a video very soon on this. I know that once parts start flying at that thing, it's just gonna go together. I think a good 20, 30 hours of man labor will get that thing going. All right, so I was wrong. I was not able to come in last night. Had a heavy deadlift session and I'm physically exhausted. So we're going today, finishing up Josh's truck, done and out today. Finish up the rails, put the wheels and tires back on. He ordered a thing that we're gonna try for the speedometer. It uses the factory plug and then takes a signal from the back. And it wasn't raining about 30 seconds ago. I got in the truck and now it's pouring. We got flood warnings and shit. And then he also ordered the gooseneck plug, and we have to finish his brakes up. Now, once that's all done, around 4 o'clock today, we're going to pick up a new turbo. Unfortunately, I just got hit with a $3,000 lawyer bill this week, so that 10K week is coming in clutch. We're redoing our flooring, which is about another $2 grand, and then we got to redo the steps, which is another $750. So I got to put out about $6,000 this week. Be careful who you date, because let's just say my ex is absolutely a pain in the ass to deal with. It's been 4 years since we've been together and she's still causing problems. So there you go. But here I'm going to show you some of this flood shit. If you guys want the full story, let me know and I'll make a video on the other channel, the side quest channel. I've been trying to keep like the side quest stuff and the main channel stuff complete, but I want to 100% get Josh's truck done today and go get that turbo. Once we have the turbo, that's all flooded down there. Once we have the turbo, Bertha's pretty much 99.9%. The windshield wipers have started working properly. I didn't do anything to them. I don't know if there was like a learning curve or something in there. I was gonna get a turn signal switch, but I didn't. And I didn't have to. Also, like I said in that last video, that water is so high. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put the windshield wiper up, and that just would not have worked, because now that they work correctly, it would not have worked. It would have been stupid. All right, so we got the receipt. I didn't pick the parts up yet. I had to pay for them. They won't be in until 2, but it was $52. We got the turbo mounting kit, all the gaskets, and a rear ABS sensor coming. So I gotta get the brake switch working on this thing as well. I don't know if Josh is coming later, but we are going to pick up that turbo. Gotta figure out that and finish up this bad Larry. So all the holes are drilled, everything's good, so we can leave that in there. He's just gonna have to go get some pins. And like I was saying, we're working on putting the washers on there as well. So I gotta figure out that one there, which I'm pretty sure it said to go off of this hole here, but that's gonna be, we'll see how that goes. Let's just put it that way. All right, we finally got the rails done. They ain't pretty, but they're in, they're efficient. I was able to take this out, put it back in, and no problem. He just needs some pins. So I'm gonna put the rest of his fifth wheel in, clean up this mess back here, and I'm gonna set the parts that he wants to do aside. So all of this stuff, the rest of it, I'd like to clean his bed out. All right, I fucked up a little bit. The turbo is 2 hours away, so I thought it was like an hour, hour and a half, and I kind of screwed up. So I'm gonna quickly slap Josh's truck together, get all this all cleaned up, throw the fifth wheel on the top, and then throw the wheels, tires on, get them all torqued down, and then we are good to go. I gotta leave in about an hour to go grab this turbo, and then probably go grab the parts if I can get there early enough. So gonna snap to getting this done, and I'll be with you in a second. All right, wheels, tires are on. They're all torqued to 140 foot-pounds. We got everything back here pretty much cleaned up. We'll just throw that on our extra shelf. I'd love to get a second guy in here soon. If anybody's interested in like a part-time position, let me know. Somebody local to me, and it takes a lot for me to be able to trust people too, so that kind of like throws me off. But I need someone who's good at something, like good at doing this stuff. But also at the same time, there are times where I get really slow because I run over the road. So keep that in mind too. I'm not gonna say what kind of position that is because I don't wanna get anybody in trouble or whatnot, but we got that all done. Fifth wheel's in. He's gonna go grab some pins. When he gets here tomorrow, he said we're gonna do the aux tank and whatnot. So other than that, we're gonna go make this 2-hour drive. It's about a 4-hour round trip to go buy a turbo. Getting this turbo for like $100. So, whew, smoky. It's worth the 2 hours in drive. So we got all the good injectors in, everything's good. Take Bertha on a good test drive. It's too early for me to go grab the parts, so probably wait it out for a little bit and then go grab the parts if I can. And then depending on the weather, if it's nice or not. Josh wants to be back at the gym by 6. We're gonna make it by 6:30, but I'm not gonna tell him that. I told him we'd be there by 6, but it might be a little full of shit.
Like 2 months.
All right, I get to ride passenger. Dingleberry's driving. We got us a turbo. Judging by the quality, yep. You missed the turn already.
Sure did.
Well, now we're gonna be late. But yeah, I'm probably gonna take my center section because he said it worked great, but at the same time, it's like, it is a $100 turbo with 250,000 miles. We're gonna get this guy installed. I cleaned everything else back here. Working on slowly moving everything over. Looks like there is red diesel in that. Yet another reason, always run one of these and don't just drain it to your main tank. See, there's a thing right there. If you do that, DOT dips this. If you ever have red in here, you're gonna have a bad day. Let's just put it that way. So I'm gonna twist this thing around. It's always better to do off the truck because if I twist this around, it's gonna hit the back window. So gonna move that over there. We are off of the jack stands. Drive shaft's in. This thing's ready to drive out. And once I get this on, actually I'm gonna pull this forward first after I get this switched, and then I will need to wire this up. But aside from that, we're gonna have to put the tailgate back on, and then she's good to go. I'm not doing anything else to this tonight. We are gonna tackle the vacuum pump eventually. I don't know if we're doing that before this trip or next trip, whatever, but I'd like to at least swap this out, and then I'm gonna let him know to go get a new filter because just why not? This thing's probably been sitting a minute, and then probably get a new nozzle because I have mine on order, so we'll see if he goes and orders his, but he got lucky. This one came with both ends swivelly, so that's awesome. All right, so we got new Teflon on both of these. Unfortunately, once you get these things to the point where they won't move anymore, this is solid steel, so we're just gonna crank it out. Even the hammer wouldn't do it. We're just gonna get it straight. That way neither him nor I can actually go through and loosen this thing up. All right, and then these hooks, they don't clear. So what I did was I pounded it like that, and then there we go, back to the factory position. I'm gonna take this and like put it to something else just to get it to come the rest of the way, but then that's it, and we're gonna put it. All right, so here's my dilemma, right? I know how mine is. I'd more so want this to be facing like out this way. So trying to decide what the best way is, because we can take this and move it, you know, out this way. So if we go look at mine, how do I have mine set up? Granted, I get that they're two different units, but mine is set up at like a slight angle so I can get it this way. So I think I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. That way he has an easier time using it. But I'm gonna let this go as far as it'll come this way, and then we'll go from there. Cause like if we were to sit it that way, it just would be impractical for him. This is gonna come towards the back window. So it's not like perfectly this way, but it's still good. I gotta tighten up the bottom bolts because after doing that, it's not happy. So we'll do that here in a second. But if he wants it anymore, once it's in the truck, we can just come along it to any corner in the truck. This fifth wheel is kind of weird. It's kind of weird that you can completely dump it that way or that way. But I should have waited to put that in until after I had the piece in, or I had this in, but it is what it is. So Josh's truck's been sitting for a minute. I shit you not, I didn't even touch the throttle. I went and hit it, wait to start light, didn't even come on, fired right up. Didn't even touch the throttle. So now that we have that, I can try to finesse this thing. Josh was supposed to come and help me. He said he'd do it tomorrow, but tomorrow is right now. So I'm just gonna do it now instead of waiting till tomorrow, because, sorry Josh, but let's get this thing in there. And then all I gotta do really is the positive and negative, and I'm not sure what the green wire's for. I don't know, I see it's a ground, but no idea. Maybe there's something wrong with the harness. I don't know why he decided to run that, but it is what it is. Let's get that up in there. So I did end up getting the fifth wheel out of the way, but somehow I got that centered on the first try. You guys will see that little streak mark. So we're gonna bolt it in on this one here, and not sure where we're gonna do the second one, but we at least need to bolt it down in the front, and then that should be good on the back. It's touching both sides, but this bed's always been a little screwy. He's got some bed damage and shit here. I sent him the link to the pins so he could order those, but as long as we can get these two holes in, I can pretty much feel free to go and do the wiring on this guy here. So I'm gonna let this go down the side so it's out of the way. I don't like this style. He's definitely gonna, oh, that's why. There's supposed to be a thing there, I'll bet. Bet you that's supposed to go. Supposed to be a screw in that or something. Something to hold that, I don't know. This is on, this is off. And then this goes in, clips on right there, and then that's it. All right, we got those bolts in. We got these in. They don't go the whole way down. Bastard. But they're in. This thing is tight. Fucker ain't going anywhere. So now we put the fifth wheel back in. Josh needs tailgate bushings, so I'm gonna hold off on putting his tailgate back on because we're gonna have to take it back off anyway to do the bushings. But I'm gonna get this on, and then I'm gonna wait till he comes tomorrow to finish some of the other stuff up. Before I leave tonight, I wanna get the turbocharger on my truck because that thing identifies as a Hemi right now. Guys, I would never thought that I would see the day that Josh's truck has an aux tank and a fifth wheel. We're gonna hold off on these. I'm gonna wait till he gets here, so I'm just gonna nicely tuck those to the side. That'll be easy. I'm not sure because he wants to run batteries. Back here, we got about 4 of them. These guys over here, this little bomb you guys see right there, there's 4 batteries. And he also has a really big inverter that he's gonna be running. Trying to run a fridge. Yes, we are gonna be cleaning the inside out, but he's gonna be running a fridge, micro, you know, some of the stuff. And if you guys wanna follow his journey, I definitely would, because he's gonna be sleeping in a club cab. And I don't know how that's gonna work out. So yeah, I reshaved again, so we got the mustache. But now that his truck is, I'd say, pretty much done. The only thing is, I would say we'll probably end up lowering the fifth wheel down, because you guys can see this thing's like almost flush with the top, and that's gonna put the fifth wheels really, really high. Guys, look at that view. Josh just has a fucking work truck. Big tires, meaty tires, looks like a farmer truck. So let's grab these keys. Josh actually has a key fob for this thing. Let's get her. I'm gonna show you. I'm not even gonna put my foot on the accelerator. I'm just gonna put my foot on the clutch. Hit that. No grid heater. Fires right up. Not gonna lie, guys, I really don't know what you guys see in these second gens. Like, Josh's is neat and all, but dude, it just makes every single noise that I wouldn't want to hear while I'm driving down the road. Like, I love the sound of the exhaust, and it is now very smoky in the shop, if you guys can see. But man, that P pump, like, I rode with mine for the longest time, but it was in a 3rd gen, and it was so much quieter. And now In a second gen, it's not nearly as quiet. It's pretty loud. So I'm gonna get my truck pulled in here and we're gonna start pulling the turbo and that rear ABS sensor. The ABS sensor was 15 bucks. I don't know if that's actually what's wrong, but for 15 bucks, am I really gonna just not buy it? So let's get mine in here and finish out this video, because that's all I got to do yet tonight. Just finish mine up. Josh's is done. He's going to help me with more of what he wants to do. We got to get his ABS light out, and we're trying to figure out the speedometer, so he got something ordered for that. We got a gooseneck wire harness on order, all the pins. So he's spending some more money on this truck just to get it running and be legal with DOT and whatnot, because ABS is a requirement, believe it or not. If you have ABS, it has to work. So let's get my truck in. All right, I know this video is getting really long. I'm gonna do a test here, and this is the turbo that we just bought. Seems like it spools or spins fine. Definitely gonna take my solenoid here, but looks all right. No wear or anything. I'm trying to debate on whether or not I'm gonna crack these bolts loose or just leave it alone. But we do have every single gasket that we're gonna need. Mind you, this is gonna be a temporary repair. I'm not keeping this turbo permanently, but we have the oil drain gasket, we have the feed, we have the T3 gasket, which I don't know, and then we also have the ABS sensor, which this thing was like 15 bucks, so I don't know, just said grab it. All 6 exhaust manifold gaskets. Considering this thing has 250,000 miles, what he said, I might just run it as is, and then I'm going to keep my turbo as a spare, so if we go on the road or whatnot, I have mine as a spare, and then if the gasket goes, the gasket goes. I guess it is what it is. I just want to get out of here tonight, so I'm going to clean all of this up, and yeah, I'll probably just use some Scotch-Brite on that. Pull this guy off, which actually isn't all that bad, but I'm going to do an experiment, see if you guys like the longer style video. I definitely don't like doing them. They're long, they edit, you know, just editing it's kind of a pain in the ass, uploading it's a pain in the ass. For those wondering how to replace these things, they literally just unscrew. Some worse than others. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Just an electronic solenoid. Like I said, this one's junk. We're going to throw that one away. Just trying to match up some of these O-rings. Alright, it took me 20 minutes just about to pull this whole thing. I kept the drain feed on because I do want to replace these O-rings, which I was pretty sure that this comes with new ones. But I could be wrong. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to do what I can. Here's the gnarly crack. You guys will see cast iron and 70-18 and 60-10 don't exactly go very well. It was only a matter of time. This thing probably wouldn't have broken off for a while, but there's the inside of this one. There's the sound. Like, you can just hear it, but this one spins very, very well. And then this one, very slow. And this one's definitely an aftermarket turbo. As you can see, look at this flange here. Look at this here. So I'm not sure yet. I might actually just, it's only one nut. I might end up moving this one over and just calling it a day, and then not even replacing the oil drain. But it looks like it didn't come with any of these, but I'd like to reseal this if possible, because definitely was leaking a little bit. Nothing crazy, but enough that it would bother me. So I'm gonna do what I can. Yeah, I definitely think I'm gonna switch these. This one just is in a lot worse condition, but you can see it's definitely seen some oil in its day, whereas this one, I mean, it's seen some bullshit, but it's still chugging along. So, and it spins so much better. Look at that. It actually stays spinning, whereas this one, that one's a lot tighter. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I making a bad call here? I am gonna save this one as a spare. Well, we have a dilemma. These two do not want to come apart. So I think I pulled this one apart first just to see if it would happen. It's not going to. So I'm just gonna move everything over to this turbo and let's hope and pray. All right, new turbo is all cleaned up. You can see all the nice prettiness. We got this moved over. I even moved over the boost reference line because the old one was kind of shitty and had those old style crimp clamps, whereas these have the ones that nobody likes, but they work a lot better. For anyone thinking that I forgot to take the wastegate off before I started beating on this, I did take the wastegate line off. That fucker is still seized, but man, that crack is pretty good. This thing was ticking pretty damn good. So now we just need to install it. It took more prep time than it did to take this thing apart. 20 minutes to take apart, 4 hours to throw back together. That downpipe down there was an absolute whore. Pissed me off for like 2 or 3 solid hours trying to get that thing lined up. Everything else went fine. Oil drain, oil feed, all that's good. I had to pound that in because somebody really fucked that up and it just... Yeah, if you're gonna drill an EGT port, first of all, it goes in the back, not the front. Second of all, like, it's a stock manifold. I don't know, just stupid. So pounded that in, probably gonna leak. It is what it is. We're definitely gonna start saving for some parts. I'm gonna do the rear ABS quick, and I'll check for leaks. I gotta clear the codes and whatnot, but yeah, I just need to get this swapped out. It's almost 2 in the morning. Actually, it's like 2:30 in the... All right, that was pretty damn simple. Easiest thing I've done. I'm gonna clean up tomorrow because fuck it, I'm gonna be sleeping for the next like 6-8 hours. So gonna clear the code. What I'm gonna do, we'll turn that on. Looks like ABS and brake light went out, so I just gotta clear the check engine light. So I'm gonna let this turn on for a minute before I start it, and I'll let you know if it works. All right, we're clearing the codes now. Keep in mind, I did spray a ton of PB Blaster down into the turbo, spun it around a couple of times. So once this says we're cleared, I'm gonna give her the old fire up. Loading. Probably should have done a better job at cleaning that turbo out, but I forgot. I gotta put all that stuff away too, so give me a second. Well, we don't have any lights, and she's a lot quieter up front and a lot louder in the back, so definitely a lot louder in the back. Gonna take her on a test drive. I'll check for leaks in the morning. I'm tired. 2:54 a.m. Probably gonna sleep until maybe 10 or 11, and then we'll be back at it. All right, getting on the highway. Not gonna beat on it, but definitely feel a difference. Definitely feel a difference, obviously, because no exhaust leak. That means that the only thing we have left on Bertha is a rear main seal and the left front fog light. Jesus, rocks going everywhere. So between those two things, we will take care of those probably after the next trip back, because I want to do the billet flex plate. That's like 350 bucks. So we'll do the rear main at the same time and see what other issues fail. But hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like it, do what you do, subscribe, do whatever. I'm going to bed. Appreciate you guys for watching. See ya.